Good day everyone, welcome back to my channel. Right in front of you is two AIO, which is the Lian Li Galahad AIO and the EK AIO Elite 360. Now for today I'm just going to focus on the Galahad, and before I do so, I'd like to thank my affiliated channel, Critical Gaming 93, who have actually provided this 2 AIO for me to actually go in depth and to share with you guys. And for those of you who are curious what is Critical Gaming 93, in fact it's all about online gaming. So if you guys are into Call of Duty, Monster Hunter and World of Warcraft, do click on the URL that is actually located on the top right hand corner, and it will take you to his YouTube channel. Alright, I'll start off with the Galahad, and this will be on another video. This is how the unit itself look like, the radiator and the pump block itself. I'll start off with the radiator. Now the radiator itself, have this aluminium piece whereby it protects both sides of the radiator. And let me just shake. Okay, there is no noise. Now, often I do this test on AIOs itself, because if there are noise when I shake it, it means to say there are lots of bubbles in the radiator itself. It's not compressed, or should I say compact, with the cooling water inside, or should I say distilled water. And as you run this unit itself, for a period of time, water will just evaporate. And one thing very thoughtful of Lian Li itself, they have actually included this refuel valve whereby you can actually refill the distilled water, so just to actually get rid of the air. So the radiator itself, or should I say the water inside the radiator, will be compact. Now this unit itself, the holes and the connection point, or should I say the connectors, they are well braided, nicely done. It gives a premium look to it. The block itself, as I'm holding, it does weight heavier than my current AIO, which is actually the Arctic Liquid Freezer 2. Now this itself, the ring at the inside, it does give off aRGB, and you can actually orientate it, see. So if your hose is actually orientated in certain direction, certain position in your PC itself, you can actually orientate this to show the logo properly. Now, turning back of this block itself, I like this block a lot. Reason being, the area surface is big, or should I say the copper block surface is very big. So when contacting to your processor HIS, it will be good, as in the sense that it has more surface area contact to actually absorb the heat. Now coming to the connection itself, there are two connection points. One is in fact for the aRGB, the other one is actually for the fan itself. Lian Li have actually done a very unique way for the aRGBs, whereby it's actually a clip-on, as you can see here. There are two side clips. This is for the aRGB, and this is actually for the pump. Now the pump will be running on full speed, and as a advice, I would actually advise most of the users or the PC builders, to run the pump at full speed. Reason being, if you were to actually, some of the pumps do come with PWM, not Lian Li but others. So if you were to run PWM, imagine that the pump itself is actually regulating the I should say pumping the water irregularly. It's going to actually hurt the pump itself. So it's best to actually run on full speed. So this is just a side note, do take note on it. These are the fans that comes with the unit itself. In fact, it's actually the ST120 fans. I've actually checked the specs on the website itself against this, the ST120, and they check out correctly. Now, the cables of these fans are nicely braided, giving you a premium feel, and it comes with two connection points. One is actually for the PWM fan connection, where the fan load is, and the other one is actually the aRGB, which has this unique clip at the side. Now, having said so, you are able to actually connect these fans together daisy chain them and to connect to the Uni Fan controller. Now, why I say this is safe to do so, right? Because I did explain on another video. If you guys are not sure what I'm talking about, you can click on the top right hand corner. It does show you that not all fans can be connected. I mean, the fan load can be connected to this unit itself. As for this, right, it's slightly different. Lian Li have actually done a very brilliant job, as in, like, on my right, this is actually the SL120, and on my left is the ST120. Now, as you look at the rating itself, right, the current drawn for the fan is actually 0.18. The RPM is 800 to 1900 RPM, which matches the ST120, which the load is 0.18 ampere, and the RPM is 800 to 1900. See, it's all the same. So you can connect this fan connector to the Uni Fan controller, not an issue. And as for the load, right, though it's rated here 0.54 ampere, and on the SL120 is 0.65 ampere, you can safely plug this daisy chain to the Uni Fan controller again, because this load is lower than the SL120. There are two packets of accessories. I'll start off with the bigger pack, and let's see what's inside. I'll start off with this. This is actually a very unique cover. As I mentioned, that there's a label on the pump itself. So if you want to actually block this pump label itself, right, you can just cover it. See? Then it does come with, I believe this is actually daisy chain for the fans. Yeah, that's right. In fact, it's actually for the fan. As you can see, there are two connections. You will not go wrong which to connect, because as I mentioned, they have a unique way to actually connect the aRGB and the fan connector. And this cable here is meant for daisy chaining the two fans on the fan connectors, which goes like this. See, the two fans are actually chained together to one. And this end, right, you can either connect to the Uni Fan controller, which I've actually shown you earlier, or you can plug this to the motherboard header itself. And do check your motherboard specification on how much ampere that it can take. Then another neat thing about this is that if you do not want to actually connect this to your motherboard or the Uni Fan controller, right, they do provide this SATA cable whereby you can actually connect the fan straight from the power supply. But when you do so, right, you will lose the function of the PWM, meaning to say you can't do fan curves and to control the RPMs of the fans. It does come with mounting brackets. I believe this is actually the retention bracket for AM4, as the original bracket, right, this, right, is in fact meant for the Intel processor. Let me see if I could show you how. Oh, okay. See, it just slides out and you can just fit this in. See, it's quite simple. So this is actually for the AM4 bracket, and this is for the Intel bracket. And this is actually the back plate where you mount this at the back of your motherboard to strengthen your retention brackets when you mount on it. So you have an even compression on between the block and your processor. It does come with a pack of screws. I believe these are radiator screws for you to mount your fan onto the radiator. The retention screws that will be mounted on your motherboard, and these are the screws to mount your block, or should I say the pump and block, onto the bracket itself, which goes from here, I mean one of the screws, to here and to one of the standoffs. Alright, I'll come to the small packet, and this I have lots to talk about. Now inside the small package itself, right, consists of these cables here and the controller itself. I'll start off with this cable, the SATA cable, which I took off from the first accessory package. This is actually meant for you to connect from your power supply straight to this controller. This is actually a physical controller if you do not want to control using your motherboard. So this is the power that is supplied to this unit. Okay, so the power here. On the manual itself, you will see this kind of diagram, and you can actually find this on the website itself. A lot of you got confused which to connect which, and one thing I must say that it will be good if Lian Li would label the cables, as in like this is R, this is S, or this is Q, or even L, or this. So having the labels right, it will be easier, but never mind, I will just actually guide you through. Now, first off, I will start off with this cable, which is actually a 3-pin and 4-pin. In fact, this is actually not 4-pin, this is 3-pin. This is actually 3-pin. It's just that Lian Li designed it this way. This is actually meant for your fan, aRGB, and this is actually for your pump, And at the end, right, this is actually to connect to your physical controller. So this cable here, right, is in fact S. Connector S. So I'll just connect this here. So this is connector S to the controller. Now the next set will be this. This is in fact a 3-pin and 4-pin to the aRGB itself. This is only meant if you want to connect to your motherboard instead of the controller. So we can actually ignore this. Next, this is actually for the fan, aRGB. So how this works, in fact, is you daisy chain your fan aRGB connectors to this splitter. Oh, I forgot to mention, this is in fact this Q, connector Q. Okay, this is how it looks like. And why does it have 3? This in fact is 2 because it's a 240 AIO. That's why you have 2 fan connection. Okay, let me just explain. This is to your connector S over here. Alright. Which goes to your which goes to your controller. And at the other end, this 3 plug here is actually meant for your fan aRGB connections. And I have 2 here. And why is it 3? Because this is actually also meant for the 380 Galahad AIO. So this is actually how to actually connect it. Done. Where's the other one? Oh, this is. So having to say this, right, when you're done with the connection on the fans itself, which is the cable Q, and at the other end of connector Q, you go to the connector S, which is this actually connector Q, okay, leading to the fan, and to your control unit, which one of them is actually 4-pin, or should I say it's actually 3-pin, but it's meant for 4-pin, and one is for 3-pin. So we just can connect to it. Then on this end, it's very simple. All you need to do is connect your block aRGB that has a unique connector, connect to this. Let me just turn on my power supply here. Okay, and to connect the SATA, which is providing to the controller itself. See, it lit up. Not too sure you can see it. Let me just zoom in. This is how it works. And for the controller, right, it's pretty unique. If you can see, there's some LED lights over here when you press the mode. See, it goes green, it goes red, it goes blue. So if you to switch to green, right, if you to connect either to plus or minus, right, you will change your pattern of your aRGBs. Let me just leave it at, okay, let me just leave it this way. And if you to click the mode again and it switches to red, if you were to press this, it will do the speed. Plus and minus, it will do the speed of the pattern. See, it goes faster when I click on positive. It will go slower if I click on negative. And for the next mode, okay, let me just switch to a static color. Okay, this is static. Now for the next mode, right, I've actually done red, which is actually the speed. If the aRGB pattern is actually flashing, right, you can select the speed. Now for blue, right, in fact it's the brightness. See, it goes bright. And for the last mode is lock, meaning to say no matter what you press here, except for the mode, the fan doesn't react. So I repeat again. First, okay, let me just switch to mode. Green is actually mode, as in like what you want. See the pattern, the different patterns. Then if you switch to red, it will be the speed of the pattern. See, it goes slower when I press negative. This will be faster. And next, blue, which is actually the brightness. If I have to click on minus, see, it dims off. And if you press plus, it will brighten up. And the last mode, which is amber, which you can see here, okay, means no matter what you press, it doesn't react. It only reacts to your mode, which switches the mode. So this is actually how you connect to the controller itself. I'll right now show you how it's being connected to the Uni Fan. Now to show you how to connect the fan connectors and the aRGB of the Galahad pump and fans into this Uni Fan controller. But before I do so, please take note on one thing. The pump block itself, this so-called pump connector, make sure you connect this to your motherboard fan header, which says CPU, and make sure it runs full RPM. Reason being, right, you want the pump to regulate in a regular speed instead of fluctuating speeds, because this will prolong the pump itself. If not, you're going to damage the pump. Now aside from this, right, as earlier on before I show you all this aRGB connection, there is this daisy chain whereby I say that you can draw the fan, I should say the fan load, whereby the fan blades will spin from the PSU itself. You can disconnect the SATA cable, and having this 4-pin, right, you can connect straight to the Uni Fan controller, no problem. The RPM is rated equal to the SL120, I mean for these fans. So this is the fan itself. Now for the aRGB, I believe this is the part whereby you guys are interested in. Now this cable here, in fact, is known as S on the manual itself. It's connected to the controller. So if you do not want it, right, you can just disconnect it. And with this unit itself, it does provide you with another connector, which is this. This is for you to, instead of using the control unit, you want to use it on your motherboard, you can. There is this cable that comes with it. This, I believe, hang on. This, I believe, this cable is actually not stated in the, oops. This cable here itself, right, the connector itself is actually not labeled on the manual itself. So, but you can use it. This is simply to say you can actually connect the pump aRGB and the fan aRGB to your motherboard. This is a standard aRGB connector. Now in order for you to connect to your Uni Fan Controller. Either you get the Lian Li aRGB kit or cable kit, or you can actually get a connector, or should say converter, which does a male standard aRGB to a female JST03 connector. I'll leave the link on where you can actually purchase this connector, and yeah, this is actually how you connect it. So one end you can actually connect based on the orientation. You can see there's one arrow over here, there's one arrow over here. You can just fit it in, and this is how it connects. And on this end here, the JST3, you can connect to the Uni Fan. I'll take you to my PC and show you the demo that this works. It's all fired up, and I've actually connected this unit to the Uni Fan controller. And this is actually on input 1, this is actually on input 3. So on the controller itself, right, on the L Connect software, I can just switch to a different pattern for the fans. Let's say I put mixing and I apply, it will react, leaving your block unchanged. If you want to change your block, you can switch to input 3. Then probably I would say to set it at stack. And of course, while doing this, right, you can set the speed. See, it reacts. Now for the fan itself, as I mentioned, you can connect directly to the unit because the rating, or should I say the specification, is equal to the SL120. Let me just show you. Right now it's actually on quiet. I can switch to full speed. If I were to apply, see, it reacts. There you have it. Once again, I thank Critical Gaming 93 to provide the two AIO, which this is one of them, the Galahad 240 and the EK AIO 360, which I'm going to do on the next video. So if you guys like my content, do remember to subscribe and to click on the notification button. Till then, take care, goodbye, see ya.